Hello again, welcome to part 2 of the video that I've made on Tuesday the 8th of April 2025 at beautiful Bridlington town. You can see now the sun is a little higher, looking out towards the North Beach. Well, this entire area I think is the responsibility of Bridlington Harbour commissioners. It's very interesting if you look that up on Wikipedia. I mean, I looked them up with DeepSeek, you know, the Chinese artificial intelligence program, which I found to be absolutely incredible and outstanding, but which I've found to make mistakes. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it, with current artificial intelligence programs? You've got to sort of do due diligence to make sure that the things are accurate. Well, anyway, what I read was about Bridlington Harbour Commissioners. There's never been a female Bridlington Harbour Commissioners, although there are many listed. Apparently, it seems, allegedly, as though there's never been a female Harbour Commissioner at Bridlington, that they've all been male. And it gave a lot of reasons for that, most of which I'm convinced aren't true. But here we have the town, and I'll just pause here. You can see again the bank of cloud, and it's now 9:48 at Bridlington, and I think this is the best time to film it, to be honest, when the sun is low behind me. You can just see that my shadow there. I'm wearing a hat. It would be nothing like this if you tried to film it at lunchtime with the sun more overhead. That particularly applies to summer, of course. There's someone fishing with a rod over there, just in front of that white van. Oh no, he's not. He's tying something up with a rope. Though it's only 7C at the moment, the sun's out, there's no wind, and I can actually feel. I'm wearing a black fleece. I can feel the heat on my back from the sun. Beautiful day. I'm surprised more people aren't here. There's no activity whatsoever out to sea. I'll do a complete scan of the horizon there, and I can just see right out on the horizon line, about 6.5 miles away, probably a little tiny speck which might be a ship going past, and there's absolutely nothing happening. The deserted fish wharf again. Let's have a look at the band of cloud there. And it's sort of curving round. You might get Withensea down there somewhere, Hornsea. It curves right around as the bay there, which you can't see in the distance. There it is, the cloud bank over South Beach, signifying land over the town. As we move around, looking now north and northeast, you can see that goes out towards Flamborough Head. And if you look here out at sea, you've got that thin band of cloud there. Here we have this beautiful statue called the Ganzig girl. The Ganzig being the sweater there that's been knitted. That's back in the day, 150 years ago. Fishermen are going to have their sweaters sort of homemade, much the same as when I was a child. I had a great aunt there, knit me sweaters. I mean, they never fitted. They hung loosely off your body like a flour sack, and the arms were too long. But of course you had to wear it because it was a gift. The beautiful smell of the £1 hot dogs coming past me right now. But shall we have a walk down onto this little beach? A lot of people don't know this is here. And here again we see the female toilet. Now the ironwork has been moved back for some reason, but just look how narrow this is. You see, very narrow stonework there. I was always told as a child that it had been made narrow like that so that men couldn't enter. Again, probably something to be taken with a pinch of salt, as they say. Well, here we are on this little beach. You can see someone's repaired this wall and held it back, whereas just a few years ago it looked as though it was going to actually drop into the harbour here. And here you've got, you know, almost clear sea. I know there's a tissue or toilet roll or something there, but if you ignore that, it's quite nice down here. You've got the old structure here where the fishing cobbles used to be, and here you've got the passage, what I sometimes refer to as the secret passage that goes up behind the priory. Of course, I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure it's part of the drainage or sewer system, but here it is sort of half filled with shingle. Now deep underneath this is a layer of white rock. You can just see the brickwork there. If you go underneath there and look up, which I'm not going to do, there's a tunnel. It goes upward to the left, and there's like a tunnel going to the right. I mean, it has to be said that this is under about 20 feet of, well, 15, 20 feet of water when the tide comes in, so one would be very ill advised to even put your head inside that. And here on the little beach, you see these white rocks. I mean, these are quite, look at that at the size of my foot. These are quite big, and they've been moved down by the water and fetched in through the harbour entrance and washed up here. This shows that sometimes the waves and the current must be quite strong here to move these quite large rocks. I can see someone's got a fishing line there. See the rod and the line going out into the water. And here we have the weirdness of the tyres embedded in Bridlington Crane Wharf. If it's possible to go through there and go out on the other side, I don't think I'll do that on this occasion. Deserted harbour. Imagine at one time what it would have been like here. You would have had about 6 pleasure boats, so-called pleasure boats. We have about 4 or 5 metal ones there, and the old wooden Bridlington Queen. They'd all be loading with passengers, and they'd be set up in convoy. I've got a sort of a memory of seeing 4 of them in convoy going off towards Flamborough Head, and the pier up here. There'll be hundreds of people on top of the pier. As we keep saying, times change. Yeah, let's go back up this way. It's all very well going under there where I was pointing at, right underneath the pier. You've got to be aware that if the tide comes in and no one sees you there, if you collapse or something, you will be a goner when the tide comes in. So that's the old female toilet, sea latrine rather. And here you perhaps see the real reason why they widened this part of the harbour. It's so service vehicles can come along here. And wandering down here at this side of the harbour, down these steps. Now that area there is where we were at the other side. We could have walked through underneath. But here, again, is the old sea latrine. Now this being the male one, and if I were to walk in there, I'm 6'2", or at least I was at one time, but I'm quite slim but broad at the shoulders, but my shoulders would almost touch the walls if I walked in there. So all you can think is that people back in the day didn't get enough to eat. And that's the exit there, the old sea latrine. And I think it's a fact, people didn't get enough to eat back in the day there. And of course, working here in Bridlington on the fishing fleets, and also where we come from in the West Riding of Yorkshire, which was predominantly a mill area with factories of all sorts, you'd be burning lots of calories during the day. And certainly I remember when food was rationed at the end of World War II. Amazing that you think you could just go there and get a £1 hot dog now. And instead of the usual run up the Art Deco steps, we'll go up this way and see again the weirdness of how this premises has been allowed to put a metal pole straight into the middle of where you might walk up and probably smash your face into it or your glasses or something. I mean, have you ever seen anything like that from a health and safety perspective? This used to be a beautiful business, having said that. Seems as though it was like, is that Papa's Fish and Chips at one time? But it used to be like a toy store where you would be able to come here on holiday and go in, and it would be full of different toys. Little fishing tackle things, those things that you wrap around a little piece of wood and then go fishing. Still there though. You could come down here and catch yourself out completely with that pole. That's just part of the historic charm of this Bridlington town, allegedly. No. Chloe's toy shop recorded for posterity. On Central Cafe takeaway. And more fish and chips. Maybe Bridlington is the fish and chip capital of Europe as well, who knows? Nail and beauty parlours, in particular ones with a sort of an American sounding name, seems to have been the waving at me from that truck there. Beauty parlours, nail parlours, American sounding ones with American names, they seem to be the businesses that have survived really well. Wherever I go in the UK, when there are great difficulties with little cafes closing and opening and so on, beauty parlours, if you can call them that, seem to survive quite well. At least they look as though they're good going concerns from the outside. Quite rightly of course, because the last thing to go, I suppose, is looking after personal care if you're into that sort of thing. This is the pet food shop. You better not look too closely at that. The large hairy pig ears. Well, presumably the dog food, hopefully. Who knows? Going back for another look now. Yeah, of course it is, yeah. East Coast raw pet foods, where you can have large hairy pig ears, giant bully muscle braid, large pig's ear, hairy rabbit ears, extra large sow's ears, or cow hooves, or hairy buffalo beef cow ears. Big thing on ears here. I thought I was missing something in my cuisine, but I'm not there for pets. And what sort of pet eats ears like that? I'm not sure. Give the intrusive thought, as it were, but how much meat is there on an ear like that anyway? It's just all gristle, surely, isn't it? Sorry if you found that sort of a bit weird. But nevertheless, that's a shop here in Bridlington. Now over there we've got Wise Guys ice cream bar and grill, pizza, pasta. There's a lot more to Bridlington than meets the eye actually from food places. Promenade mobility. Oh, I'm not there yet, thank goodness, although I am 77 this year later on. Spring here at Age UK. Charity shop, Sense. La Mini Market and the Forum Amusements. You go further up there, you can just see that church. That's quite an interesting church. I won't go into it on this video. Instead, I'll sort of turn left here and enter Bridlington's Promenade shopping centre. And again, we've got the typical scene from the UK at the moment, where things are actually closed. You know, it's very difficult for businesses in these places to stay open, it seems. I don't know whether that's due to the rates they're being charged. But you've got Argos here, and this little gadget exchange shop. Personally, if it's something Apple related, like an Apple charger, I would always get that direct from Apple and have it delivered, you know, rather than buying it retail. Some sort of knockoffs that look real until you start looking at it very closely. I mean, I bought two from Bridlington. I won't say where that was, but I noticed the serial number was the same. It was superb packaging, and the outside of the charger looked great. But when you looked very carefully inside it, the terminals inside the charger have distorted and nowhere near the quality of a proper Apple charger. Anyway, here we are. We've got shoe zone, we've got threading and waxing here at the brow station. Eyebrows £9, upper lip £5. That's much use to me, I've got no hair left. I think it's an attribute, you know. Being totally bald, you can just wash your head quickly and dry it, but it takes a few seconds. It just seemed to do well. You've got the phone shops with the contracts. You've got an unlimited plan on this phone, but it's not with any of these big networks that tie you into a contract. Gone full circle back to Greg's again. So we'll go and have a look in the British Art Foundation, see if we've got any good history books. Again, the what looks like the very sad demise of Costa Coffee here at Bridlington. This is the other side of the coffee shop. Times change, unfortunately. No more chocolate tippins. Walking up now outside Peacock's. I've always thought this is a very beautiful display of fruit here at the Four Seasons Wholesale and Retail Fruitiers. There you can see best strawberries $5.99, plums $2.99, raspberries $2.99, satsumas 4 for $1.80, melon £2.99 each, sweet potatoes $1.39 for 500 grams, and fresh beetroot 89p for 500 grams. And a selection of flowers and plants. Doing some beautiful miniature roses there. Works still there. Bookshop. Entertainment exchange. Sad to see Smith's Butcher's now closed in Bridlington. I just had a look in through that window and it's just sort of all stripped out inside. Change, is that the only butcher in Bridlington? I don't know. Anyway, goodbye from Bridlington on part 2 of this video. Take care now. Goodbye for now.